Hello, Capricorn. Welcome to Shelo Mystics. Let's take a look at your love energy for June 2026 and see what messages are coming through for you. Whether you're single, committed, separated, dealing with situationship, or simply trying to understand where a connection is headed, take what resonates and leave the rest behind. This is a collective reading, so not every message will apply every Capricorn watching. As we move through the reading, we will be exploring the journey from recent past into the present, challenges, lesson influencing your love life, energy developing behind the scene, and where all of this energy may be leading towards as you move through June and see the outcome of it. So, Capricorns, settle in, take a deep breath, and let's see what the cards have to say about your love life for the month 2026. For the past, Two of Wands, present Queen of Cups, obstacles are Seven of Swords, and future is King of Cups, outcome is Eight of Swords. Let's pull up a clarifier and understand. Okay, for the past, for Two of Wands, the clarifiers are Two of Swords, Page of Swords, Nine of Cups, and Eight of Swords. And for the present situation, the cards for Queen of Cups, the clarifiers are Nine of Wands, Four of Swords, Queen of Wands, Emperor. Obstacle, Seven of Swords, and the clarifiers are Ace of Swords, Fool, Page of Wands, and Five of Swords. The future, King of Cups. The clarifiers are Knight of Swords, Queen of Cups, World, and High Priestess. The outcome is Eight of Swords, and the clarifiers are Three of Cups, Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, and Temperance. Let's dive deep and understand what the cards tell us for the month 2026 June. Okay, based on the past energies here, we see that the story begins with somebody like you are standing at a crossroad, want to make a choice, understand the two of it's not about an action yet. It's still looking like you're looking forward, imagining possibilities, wondering what outcome are next. So the interesting thing that is immediately it's clarified by Two of Swords. Despite seeing the possibility, there is still an instability to choose, make a choice. In the recent past, you may have known exactly what you have wanted emotionally, but something prevented you to from moving forward towards it. Besides, another layer where we see that you have been observing, rather participating, watching some social media content or trying to keep track of things, watching someone's action or gathering information, remaining curious, but you are emotionally a bit cautious, is what we see. So, right after Two of Sword, the Page of Sword, it could be either you are blocked by somebody else or somebody or you have blocked them and still trying to approach it. See the situation. So I don't know what's no decisions to be made here. So instead of deciding, you're watching. And the Nine of Cups here talks about the contradiction here, whether you already knows what it wants. There is a wish that exists and a desire also, but the emotional fulfillment is being sought, already kind of being identified. So yet, despite knowing what would make you happy, Eight of Swords kind of appear here. You can see this Eight of Swords here and the Eight of Swords at the outcome. Okay, we'll understand what does it has to do here. It tells you that in it here, The present was never external. So this is everything to do with your thinking and you feeling trapped, not able to move. This could be somebody at a distance, um, also somebody overseas, or if the connection is online. So this is also something that you feel trapped because you're at a different location and unable to move and things like that. And in the present situation, we do see, hold on. So this mental wall here, it could be about fear, overthinking, and we're wondering whether what if we get hurt, what if this does not work out, what if you don't feel the same again. So the past energy is showing a breakup, it doesn't show any sort of betrayal. This shows that being stagnated, frozen, or paralyzed. So standing before an open door, convincing yourself that it is kind of locked. And in the present energy, we do see that the Queen of Cups. It's clarified by Nine of Wands, Four of Swords, Queen of Wands, and Emperor. So now the energy shifts dramatically. The Queen of Cups arrives. The heart is no longer hidden. The emotions are becoming impossible to ignore. So the Queen of Cups sit between two different energies. One is Nine of Wands and Four of Swords. Shows the exhaustion. This is something like you are carrying someone's emotional weight for a very long time. And the repeated disappointments, emotional fatigue, and feeling of having to defend one's own heart. This year tells us the Four of Swords. There is a period of retreat or healing that's recently taking place. You have to step back, reflect on things, trying to regain emotional balance here. So the Queen of Wand energy enters here. Next talks about that confidence, attraction, and self worth returning. And after immediately we do see there's an emperor. So the Queen of Cups is about emotions, Queen of Wand is about being magnetic, and Emperor is somebody intentional. So together we see that who is healing previously and recovering in the beginning to regain control over their emotional world here. This isn't a victim's energy. This is somebody waiting to be chosen, somebody deciding what they'll kind of have to do to accept or move forward. So the present energy says that you know what you feel, you know your value, you are becoming somebody selective about who gets access to you. And the obstacle here are the obstacles have no swords. Somebody the obstacle is not saying what needs to be said, holding back, thinking twice, and being cautious about things. The truth will emerge, or at least is trying to emerge in this situation. The conversation is trying to happen, the clarity wants to enter the situation. We do see the presence of the fool, somebody wanting to take a leap of faith towards you, and the sort of excitement, flirtation, initial curiosity, and a new beginning. So, yet we do see there is a Five of Swords present here in the present moment. The moment hasn't fully happened yet. There could be a sense of pride, fear of being rejected, or losing control, or looking absolutely foolish. So even though there's a interest for a new beginning, wanting to have clarity or conversation, so ready to take a step towards, but still simultaneously trying to avoid being vulnerable. So if somebody is closed off emotionally, this is just becomes a thought on their mind. It's not action or something that intended to do. This is the repeated thought. That's the obstacle because it's still stuck in the thinking mode. And the future energy we see there is the King of Cups, clarified by, you know, King of Cups and Queen of Cups here. Initially, also in the first present energy, we see the Queen of Cups. So you are carrying forward the Queen of Cup energy to the future. Queen of Cup is present becomes the King of Cups in the future also. There is a growth, there is evolution, and this is emotional maturity and emotional energy developing. The kind of feelings deepen here, and understanding becomes clearer. The Knight of Swords here tells us that communication arrives suddenly. Something that has been delayed begins to move quickly. The world that was held back begins coming out. The truth kind of starts emerging here. The Queen of Cup appearing again says that you're creating a bridge directly between the present and the future energies. Okay, you can see this is the present and this is the future. The emotional connection itself remains kind of a significant here. The feelings have not disappeared. Emotions become the foundation of what is to follow. To see the world, it's a completion, closure, achievement, or ending of one cycle and the beginning of a new one. Because it is followed by the high priestess, uh, does not mean that in everything will become clear or visible. What of the clarity and things that we saw would supposed to be arriving? It's still an obstacle because somebody is wanting to keep up with the secrecy, not completely discuss things or be transparent. So the obstacles here is kind of linked with the future card. There's still mystery, and this also talks about the divine timing. And your intuition plays a major role here on what to be done or how to take things forward. The future energy feels less romantic or dramatic. It's more of emotionally to be attuned here. We see the major court cards here: King of Cups and Queen of Cups. Okay, it's the growth we see that you bring into yourself, and the outcome here we do kind of see that then Eight of Swords clarified by Three of Cups. At the first glance, the Eight of Swords may kind of seem concerning because it kind of appears in the past also. But notice the difference here. In the past, the Eight of Swords is followed by the confusion. In the outcome, it is surrounded by the healing cards here. The Temperance talks about the healing. It talks about your self confidence, social gatherings, and the celebrations, or at least on those lines that where you reconnect, communicate, a social interaction, or the emotional support group is something that we see here. So the Nine of Pentacles shows there is an independence, self worth. The Knight of Cups introduces the romantic movement, an offer or an invitation. It's also about the emotional expression or a gesture that is from the heart. The Temperance is the final lesson for the entire reading, where you balanced patience, integrity, and a divine timing. The outcome suggests that despite the opportunities from the emotional growth and connection, you may still occasionally kind of get worried about the old fears and old thought patterns. Externally, the situation does improve. The internal mindset does take a longer time to catch up. That's something we see. And the heart is moving faster than the mind. So the overall we see Capricorn, June feels like the month where love is no longer the problem, but the fear is. No, connection itself isn't showing a major conflict here. The feelings aren't disappeared. There is attraction, the emotional bond is still present. What this reading repeatedly highlights is the struggle between the emotional truth and the mental hesitation here. The past shows the indecision here, and the present kind of it talks about the healing and self worth. Seven of Swords here talks about the obstacles where it shows avoidance and the difficulty to be vulnerable or emotionally open. The future, it's about the emotional maturity and a meaningful communication, and the outcome we see the connection becoming possible, but only when the old fear stops being given more authority than the present reality here. Okay, so you already know what your heart wants. The question is whether your mind is ready to stop arguing with it. And that's the journey for the month of June 2026. It appears to be, whereas your overall connection and you're emotionally invested, observing, curious, and thinking about the possibilities, this connection has not fully developed yet. So you're considering it taking a leap of faith. This is not fully saying that you need, but if you both are not opening up, if you're not opening up to say fully, what needs to be said. This begins with the connection and has the potential, but it has not fully materialized. For some of you, this may involve distance, some different cities, different countries, online communication, different schedule, or simple circumstances that keeps you two people from moving naturally towards one another. There is curiosity, interest, and attraction here. But instead of movement, there has been an observation. Instead of action, there has been consideration. And instead of certainty, there has been a lot of questions, not because somebody does not care, but because somebody is trying to figure out whether to take this next step. Is it worth risking? And present also we're talking about the emotion becomes harder to ignore. Not necessarily, there is anything to do with the heartbreak or hurt. It says that feelings are becoming stronger than logic. Queen of Cups also talks about how emotions have become real. The obstacle is not to deal with the deception. It's very strategic avoidance that we saw. And in the future, not everything will be revealed at once, but your intuition is guiding the process. Outcome tells you the connection is possible. There's potential for it. Opportunities will become available. Communication and invitation, all of these will be a possibility. You still have to overcome your mental barriers. An opportunity is still present. If if at all if you have to present to somebody or somebody is presenting to you, don't let this mental block stop you. It is about whether you will allow to take next steps. A connection with genuine emotional potential is moving towards a great honesty here. There is emotional maturity, but hesitation, caution, and fear of vulnerability are shown. What otherwise appears to be a natural progress here. All right, Capricorn, this is what I have for your love reading for the June 2026. Of this reading, we repeatedly saw emotional that could continue to develop the communication that wants to happen and a connection that appears to have a genuine potential. The card seems to ask you to pay attention to the difference between what is actually happening, what is fear telling you that might happen. Trust is being shown to you. What is being communicated to you. There is no weightage to that. And most importantly, trust your own intuition here. Thank you very much for spending time with me today. So if you're new to Shelo Mystics, I would love to have you here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more readings. For personal reading, you can reach out to the email that is mentioned in the description. Until next time, take care of yourself, trust your journey. I'll see you in the next reading. Bye.